Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, then welcome. And if you're not new, thank you so much for coming back for another video. My name's Allis, and for today's video, we're going to be doing a first impression, a pick or pass on the Maybelline Lemonade Craze Palette, you guys. This palette is recently released from Maybelline. I believe it's going to be a limited edition or a seasonal item. I can only assume that because the whole vibe of this palette is very spring and summer, so I wouldn't imagine they'd want something like this around for the winter time, but who knows? Who knows? So yeah, you guys, I'm gonna give you guys a full scoop. I'm gonna give you some swatches. I'm gonna do this makeup tutorial for you guys. I'm gonna give you guys all the damn tea on this palette. So if you are interested in seeing how I got this look and my thoughts on this palette, and if you want to know if this is worth spending your coins on and this is going to be a pick or a pass, and just keep watching. This palette is gorgeous. Immediately when I saw it, I was drawn to it. I love the colors. I think it's so fun, so summery, and I just think it would be perfect to wear in the hotter months. I picked this up on a pre-sale on Amazon and I got this for $10.99, but now it is released pretty much everywhere. You can get it on Ulta, you can get it at Walmart, you can get it at Walgreens, and it is just about anywhere from $11 to $13.99. So I'm just going to give you some of the claims that this palette has really quickly. It says here, it has 12 highly pigmented eyeshadow shades to create any look day to night, blendable shades, formula infused with a fresh citrus scent. So with this palette in total, it looks like we're going to be getting 8 matte shades and 4 shimmery glittery shades, which is actually a really good compromise. To me, I'd rather have much more matte shades than I would shimmer shades. Shimmer shades to me are going to be your pops of color. They're going to be like the fun inner corner or center of the lid. I love having a good selection of mattes just because that's really going to help you create your look. It's going to help you with the transition, and it's just going to be better to work with overall. First shade right here is called Sherbet, which is definitely your like peachy off-white matte. Berry Ice is a very pale, almost nude pink, and it's also matte. Then we have Sunny's, which is also an off-white, but instead of being more on the peachy side like Sherbet, which was the first one, this is definitely more on the yellow side. And we have Main Squeeze, which is the shimmery gold of the palette, which I will say, it feels nice, but it does not feel as nice as the matte shades. This is the first shimmery shade that I swatched, and it is definitely not as creamy. I do feel like it is lacking a little bit of pigment just by the swatch. Next we have Strawberry Lemonade, which is also a shimmery color. This one is a shimmery pink. And we have Lemonade Craze, which is the yellow of the palette. I'm such a fan of these matte yellow shades. I feel like they're so fun, especially when you pop them in your crease. It really gives you a little extra something. Then we have Ice Pop. This is going to be your matte cherry red. Coral Punch, which is another really pretty shade. This one is a peachy pink shade. It is beautiful. Next up is Citrus. Citrus is almost like a two-dimensional shade. In the pan, it looks a lot more gold than it swatches. Once you swatch it, it has more pink and peach in it. Then we have Old Fashioned, which is a reddish brown shade. Sugar Coated, which is kind of like your copper penny shade with hints of peach in it. And then lastly, we have Sweet Tea, which is another reddish brown, but it is much lighter than the last one, and this one is also a matte. One thing I will say, just in swatching these, you guys, these are some of the most buttery mattes I've probably ever dipped my finger into. As wrong as that sounds, I don't know, something about these mattes just has me falling all sorts of in love. Like, I'm sprung. They truly feel so buttery and so creamy. So I'm really impressed because, you guys, this is drugstore right here. Before I jump into the makeup look, I'm just going to prime my eyelid real quick with some concealer because I have not done that. I already applied foundation just because I wanted to save myself some time in this video, and realistically, you guys have seen me do my foundation many times. I do it in every video, so I figured I would spare that this video. Oh, and by the way, you guys, let's not look at my nails, please. My nails look horrendous. I absolutely know that. I'm gonna go get them done tomorrow, and I cannot film tomorrow, so I had to get this video up, ratchet nails and all, so let's just pretend they're not there, okay? I'm going to take the shade Sherbet first, which is this shade right here, which is like the peachy off-white shade, and I'm just going to apply this all over the eyelid area just to set the concealer in place. For a transition shade, I'm going to go in with this shade right here, which is Sweet Tea. This seems to be the lightest transitional shade that I could use here. I think this one is a little bit too dark, and I don't want to go in with the red or the yellow as a transition. So I'm going to use this one right here, which is the lighter brown. And I'm going to apply this to my crease. So that seems to blend nicely. I'm going to pick up the shade Lemonade Craze on the same brush. And I'm just going to focus that on my crease. Whereas that brown, I kind of put it above my crease. I just want to see how these layer. I do wish this had a mirror though, not gonna lie. I do feel like the yellow is not very pigmented though once you apply it. I'm not really seeing it. I don't know if you guys see anything, but I'm definitely not really seeing where that yellow went. I'm gonna try using a real haired brush just because maybe that will help it show up better. Okay, alright, I see it. Alright, so okay, I see it a little better now that I switched brushes. I'm thinking maybe you want to use a real haired brush instead of a synthetic just because maybe that works better with the matte shades. I definitely see her a lot more now. And you guys can see too, like this eye, you can see the yellow. Whereas this eye, I applied yellow here, but you can't even see it, so. Now what I'm going to do is grab the shade Ice Pop on the same brush here, and I'm going to apply that to the inner and the outer corners just to kind of create a halo eye. Let me try a synthetic brush again to see, just to make sure that it definitely would work better with a real haired brush. Oh yeah, I mean you guys can see it. These mattes definitely like real haired brushes a lot more than synthetic. For the center of the lid, I'm thinking about using the shade Citrus right here, and I'm just gonna pop that right here. I'm gonna use this as this for now, and if needed, I'm gonna apply some Fix Plus to intensify the color. It actually goes on pretty nicely without Fix Plus. I'm going to take a little bit of Main Squeeze, which is this one right here. The one that swatched really glittery, and I'm just going to apply some right in the center of my eyelid. I'm going to grab some of this shade right here, which is Old Fashioned. It's the deepest brown in the palette. And very lightly, I'm grabbing a synthetic brush because as you guys already know, I've noticed that synthetic applies the colors a little bit less pigmented, which is what I'm going for. I'm just going to dust this over top here just to kind of close off the halo here. The next thing I'm going to do is just apply some concealer, contour, and bronze my face, and I'm also going to apply some falsies, and I will be right back to give you guys the final overall look and let you guys know what I'm really feeling about the palette. So to me, this palette is most certainly going to be a pick, and let me tell you why. For one, the price is definitely there. It's drugstore, so it's definitely going to be on the more affordable side. The color versatility is definitely there. It has some really great options. I'm loving the red, the corally shades. My favorite color is peach, so I'm all about having these peachy tones in here. They're so pretty, so flattering. And for the spring and summertime, you can definitely never go wrong with a nice pop of peach or red. It's just going to really make your eyes stand out. It's going to make you look very vibrant. As you guys can see, I'm loving this look. It's very tropical looking. The matte shades are amazing. Like I had mentioned earlier, these are some of the most creamiest mattes that I've ever swatched and touched and worked with in general. And that's saying a lot because you guys, this is Maybelline. This is a really solid palette. I have nothing bad to say about it. I think it was really great. One thing that I did want to mention, because I kept seeing it everywhere all over the reviews of this palette, people kept comparing it to the ColourPop Yes Please palette, so I kind of wanted to give you guys a side-by-side. So I can see why people are comparing them. It's definitely going to be the reds and the yellows that kind of make them be in the same kind of shade family, but nonetheless, they're both really great palettes. The formula of these shades, especially these mattes, is impeccable. I really can't say enough good things about how creamy and how buttery and how soft and smooth these mattes are. However, this one, the pigment on these shades, like regardless of whether you're using a natural versus a synthetic brush, I feel like regardless, you can get away with anything with this palette because this palette is just amazing, hands down. Honestly, me being a makeup lover, I say get them both. So overall, I say it's definitely a pick. Oh, another thing that I wanted to mention, which I briefly forgot to mention, the scent, because it did claim to have a citrusy scent. I did smell it. It does smell. It does have a citrusy smell. However, I did want to say that it is a very faint smell. You can hardly notice it, which is so important. I feel like an eyeshadow palette had a very bold, very kind of like overpowering scent. I really think that would drive me away from it just because what the heck you need smelly eyeshadow for? I mean, I get it. It's pleasant. It's probably kind of more of a fad, but like, you don't need it to be overpowering, but this is just the right amount of scent where it doesn't stink, obviously, but it smells nice. And that's actually if you're trying to smell it. I even forgot to mention it because throughout the whole video I never really smelled it at all. So you'd really have to pay attention and you'd really have to go in with the intention to smell something in order to notice the scent. So it's definitely there. It's not overpowering. It's pleasant and it's not too much. So that's going to complete this video, you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed it and found it helpful. Please don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you did and subscribe to my channel. Just do the damn thing, okay? Thank you all so much for watching and I will see you in my next video. Bye.